Nobody indeed. What is good? Welcome into week 4 of the college baseball season. My name is Alan Bell. This is Driving the Line. It's so good to see everybody. Hope you are doing fantastic. We're recording this live Tuesday, March 3rd, getting you ready for everything Friday, Saturday, Sunday in college baseball. Getting it all set up here. Japan said, hey, Cash Tennessee and NC State Tuesday. Let's go. I love it, man. I love it. All right, let's jump into it. Japan, good to see you, buddy. All right, so week 4 of the college baseball season is here. What do we have on tap for this weekend? All right, let's take a look at the series that we have of ranked teams. Winthrop at Auburn. All right, so real quick, what you're going to see. All right, let me pull myself full screen real quick. So the tournament portions are starting to come to an end. All right, now you're going to see series at, X home team, whoever, right? So you'll still see some series or some tournaments pop up, but for the most part, we're kind of getting done with that. So what you're going to see are some lopsided series. You'll see some good ones. You'll see some non-good ones there. So it's going to help. What I'm getting at is that it will help us to identify and just understand these teams more now that we're getting consistency. They're playing at home, playing on the road, true home, true road, etc. So getting closer to that. Sorry, it took me like 5 minutes to explain that. I don't know why. All right. Winthrop at Auburn, Oakland at Texas A&M, Columbia at West Virginia, Queens at Georgia, Virginia Tech at Georgia Tech. Good series here in Atlanta. Citadel at Kentucky, Virginia at North Carolina. Great series here. Let's go. LaSalle at Clemson. UCLA at Ohio State. Okay, let's get it. Wenzel, is the volume on? I think so. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me okay? If you can hear me okay, right, yes. If there's something wrong, right, no. I'm going to assume that everything is good. All right, so Virginia at North Carolina. Excellent series there. LaSalle, Clemson, UCLA at Ohio State. Lafayette, however you want to say it, at NC State. Lipscomb at Mississippi State. Northern Kentucky, Florida State. Stanford at Wake Forest. East Carolina at Coastal Carolina. My goodness, it just does not stop for Coastal Carolina. It continues. Oh, my goodness. All right, so at least they're at home for this one. High Point at Florida. Winslow, you can hear me? Okay, perfect. Sweet. All right, good. I just want to make sure. No. Yeah, I just want to make sure everybody can hear me. You can hear me. It's good to see you, big dog. All right, High Point at Florida, Wright State at Tennessee. All right, here we go. We're going to get runs in this one, I think. North Alabama at Southern Miss, Boston College at Miami, Tulane at TCU, Stetson at Arkansas, Sacramento State at LSU, USC Upstate at Texas, Santa Clara at Oklahoma, UTSA at New Mexico State. Keep your eye on that series. That's going to be fun. And then Xavier, at Oregon State. So did you notice it's starting to even out? All right, now we don't have as many of the premier games that we saw in these tournaments, of UCLA and Mississippi State. It's starting to even out, but we're going to get more consistency with that. So that's what we have for the top 25. Now let's take a look at stats across the country. Home runs. Georgia leads the country with 38 home runs this season. Miami with 29, Vanderbilt with 28, NC State with 26, UCLA with 25. Team runs. All right, who are we betting on? Who's hitting the overs? Who is scoring runs like crazy? Look at Georgia Tech. Already 174 runs scored this season. Miami, 161. NC State, 142. Georgia, 135. New Mexico, 135 as well. So you're looking at teams that are scoring runs, teams that are winning games right here. Now let's look at the other side. Strikeouts in terms of pitching. All right, and this is the entire pitching staff. LSU has 173 strikeouts already this year. Wake Forest with 166. Look at Cal Baptist, 163. Florida Gulf Coast, 152. Miami, 152 strikeouts as well. Miami's popping up all over the place. Team ERA. Look at USC at the top, the Trojans. The best ERA in the country, 1.45. Texas, 1.55 ERA. Clemson, 1.80. NC State, 1.92. Cal Baptist, 2.08. Look at Cal Baptist showing out with the pitching. Millsy said, yep, SC, baby. Looking good, man. Best ERA in the country. All right, coming in hot. Now, USC, again, could be at the very top of this list. We could list 15 of them. But the story so far, at least at the top with teams that you're seeing in the rankings, it's been these so far. And again, not that there aren't others. We could list Mississippi State here. We could, even though they lost to UCLA, they had a phenomenal weekend. We could list USC. We could list UC Santa Barbara. Keep going. There are a ton of them. But dialing into the big five here kind of so far. UCLA, 3-1 last week, at Ohio State this week. We're going to be able to bet UCLA. We're going to be able to bet them this weekend. It's going to be pricey, but we're going to be able to bet them. Texas went 4-0 last week. What can you say, man? Longhorns are looking great. Versus USC Upstate, probably not going to be able to bet Texas this weekend. North Carolina. Now, check the competition level, obviously, but we thought North Carolina coming into the season would be legit, and 5-0 again last week, and boys are showing it, man. And against Virginia, another team we've been talking about, and another team we've been betting. That's going to be an amazing series this weekend. Florida, 4-0 last week versus High Point this weekend. Probably not going to be able to bet Florida. And then NC State went 5-0, scored 8 million runs this week. They'll be at home against Lafayette. So probably won't be able to bet them either. Now, the bounce back. Okay, so we want to take a look at teams here. Doesn't necessarily mean the sky is falling, but last week wasn't great. And we identify it and say, all right, is this team playing bad? Who are they playing this weekend? Do we think they're going to turn it around, or should we stay away, right? Like, that's what we do. And the opposite with, teams that are looking good. All right, so Arkansas with 3-2. Again, it wasn't a terrible weekend. I'm not hammering on the boys. I think that Arkansas would say the same thing. Just look to get a little more consistent, some more runs at the plate. Standard stuff, but take it on Stetson. A good weekend to get everything back on track. Tina, hey, big crew. Hey, Tina, so good to see you. Yeah, probably not going to be able to bet Arkansas this weekend. Coastal Carolina went 2-2. Look, 1-2 on the weekend. It wasn't great. Salvaged on Sunday. Lost on Tuesday to NC State. They've been playing one heck of a schedule, man. And now at least they're at home. Taking on East Carolina. Whether we're riding Coastal or fading them, we'll be able to bet this game this week, this series. Miami at home, taking on Boston College this weekend. They went 1-2, 2 losses to Florida. Game on Sunday was suspended, postponed, canceled, whatever you want to say. Miami, let's see, baby, what you got? I got a feeling Boston College might get hammered on this weekend. Oklahoma, 3-2 last week again. Sky's not falling. They're 12th in the country, right? But, again, kind of the same thing we talked about with Arkansas. Just how do you get more consistent? Take it on Santa Clara. That's how you get more consistent. No, we're going to see. Ole Miss, 2-2. Again, not a terrible weekend. Not a great one. I don't think Ole Miss left enthused, especially after losing on Sunday. But, yeah, it was a good team. Just, Evansville's on the list. So, yeah, Ole Miss is probably going to get themselves right this weekend. I don't know if we're going to be able to bet them, though. So, Coastal Carolina, we definitely will. Miami, we definitely will. And Oklahoma, we probably will, but it's going to be pretty priced, man. Tizzle said Oklahoma might score 100 runs versus Santa Clara. Yes, they might. Yes, they might. Big Wenzel. Taking a look at him there. Batty boy shaking. Well, shake it, gang. Just punch it in. Good to see you, buddy. Tizzle, speaking of home runs, Will Gasparino for UCLA has 10 home runs and 2 singles. Not bad. Not a bad start. Virginia's down 9-0 in the bottom of the third. Great. Fantastic. They're getting whooped. Well, who does Virginia have? North Carolina this weekend. All right, boys. Get it together. Okay, trends and note. Did we get the right one? Okay, yeah. Trends and note. Let me pull this up. Okay, speaking of Virginia, Virginia's won every Friday game by 2+ runs. So, taking the midweek game out of this. We'll see if they come back. But they've handled their business, man, on the weekends. North Carolina's coming calling, though. So, we're going to find out. Friday, a make or break on that. Georgia Tech. Look at this. They averaged 14.5 runs per game this year. Georgia Tech is absolutely smoking the baseball. And that tournament, that series this weekend, Virginia Tech at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Virginia Tech can hit too. Could be a ton of runs in that. Duke stolen 66 bases so far this season. We're going to be able to bet Duke. Oh, my goodness. The Blue Devils are looking good so far this year. Alonzo said, oh, my God, Virginia, can we trust those guys? Yeah, good question. Good question. North Carolina is going to show it. Georgia Southern. Okay. Georgia Southern has allowed 116 runs this season. So we need to be marking down every single time Georgia Southern plays, right? So, yeah, that's on me. I'll do that. I'll make sure that we bring that up because, yeah, Georgia Southern is just giving up runs left and right. All right, Florida. Florida has won 11 straight games by 2+ runs. Florida lost game 1 of the year to UAB and hasn't lost since. And in fact, like we said, they're 11-1. They've won 11 straight games by 2+ runs. They're not always blowouts, but Florida's handling their business, man, just as consistent as it gets. So Florida run lines where you have them, we'll talk about them, obviously, but 1.5's been working for Florida when you get them. All right, under the radar series. Let me pull this up. What do we have this weekend? Tizzle on brand. Florida right now up 4-0. Yep. That's what Florida does. Okay, Notre Dame at Duke. Notre Dame, not bad. Duke, pretty good. We're going to see, though. Got to get a good test on Duke. Are they there? Is Notre Dame talking about something this weekend? All right, so we're going to see, but we're definitely going to be able to bet that. Middle Tennessee at UAB. These two teams aren't the best teams on planet Earth, but they can hit. They could put up runs. And going up against each other with some good weather that we should have this weekend, we're going to keep an eye on those totals. We could see if we get a lot of 11.5, 12.5s, 13.5s too. We could smash on these. Both of these teams can put up runs quickly and give them up. Middle Tennessee games are a lot of fun, to be honest with you. There's a lot of runs scored. Cal Baptist at BYU. All right, first off, we have a holy war. Nice. Always want to call that. Look, Cal Baptist, loving it. We just talked about him in regards to pitching, team strikeouts in the top 5, as well as team ERAs in the country. BYU, the launch pad, probably a little cold right now, but they're going to be a team that we're going to be betting overs as well this year. So just another weekend we're going to get to see more, but it should be a pretty good one here. Cal Baptist has been a ride in terms of betting on them. Fresno State at Arizona. Yeah, I know. You're saying AB. If you say Arizona one more time, I get it. Here's the thing, though. Arizona has the potential to go off this weekend. I'm not saying they write the season. I'm not saying any of that. But what are they? 3-8? 4-8, somewhere, something like that. 3-8. You go through it sweep. 6-8 feels a lot better. Then you can start evening this thing out, right? So I don't have a ton of faith in Fresno State. I'm sure that Arizona is going to be priced somewhat expensive, but not that expensive. And, yeah, well, I was going to say we'll find out which books are paying attention or not, but I could be wrong. Fresno State might come in and just blast them. But Arizona has – this is a good weekend to get right. Matty boy, got to love the casual reference to a holy war. I know. Yeah. All right, Fresno State, Arizona. We got to keep our eye on Arizona. If they lose Friday, oh, my gosh. Just delete this show. All right, Cal Poly in Hawaii. The Hawaii Regional continues. Now, we've seen a little bit of Cal Poly. They're not that good. They're all right. Tizzle, Hawaii has won the first 2 games of every series. Friday nights at home are an auto bet for me. Agreed. And that's exactly why I brought it up. Nothing against Cal Poly, but again, hey, and you know what? You and Whale, you guys all you coined it correctly. The Hawaii regional is accurate. So yeah, Hawaii is definitely going to be a team that we'll be able to bet this weekend, and we probably should. So, and great static. Let me put that up there again. Hawaii has won the first 2 games of every series. Friday nights at home are an auto bet for me. I love it, man. All right, so the rotation. So it brings us all to this. These are the 5 teams, and I just have 5 listed. What the rotation is are teams that we are counting on every weekend, and they keep showing up for us, okay? Doesn't mean we can play them every weekend because some matchups are going to be out of control. But for the most part, these teams are showing up for us, and there are more that we could list. Again, you could put Virginia, except for, midweek game. But again, Virginia on the weekends, you could put it there. USC, literally just smashing everything. Hawaii, you know what I mean? So there are a lot of teams. And I say that to say, if you build your own rotation and you kind of keep track, it makes it easier for me. So you might put together 2 teams that you just, these are kind of your go-to teams, when you have Friday games, when you start, just looking at the board in your head, on paper, whatever, you're like, man, where's UCLA? Where's Mississippi State? These are mine, right? Like I look to these teams first, and the matchup looks good. Price looks good. Yeah. Look, Dollar Bill said it. NC State. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I didn't list them because of what the competition they had last weekend, but again, bingo. NC State is money in the bank, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm right there with you. And you could do this with 10 teams. You do it with 15. You could do it too. But yeah, and NC State would be at the very top of that list, man. Loving them. So yeah. All right, so let's take a look at. I took these 5, these who we've kind of been going with, and we'll have more consistency as we go. But UCLA, a wagon, 9-2 on the year, averaging 9 runs per game. They're only giving up 3.9 on average per game. They went 3-1 last weekend. We're going to be able to bet them against Ohio State this weekend. It's going to be pricey for sure, but not too pricey with them being on the road in Columbus. So keep an eye on UCLA for real. Mississippi State, 11-1. That one loss, extra innings to UCLA. And Mississippi State should have had that one. So loving this team, man. They're averaging 10.2 runs per game, 3.6 runs per game allowed. And again, went 3-1 last week. Not a thing to complain about. Look at Georgia Tech. 11-1 on the year, 14.5 runs per game. Georgia Tech is doing it. And only allowing 4.1. Nice job. 3-1 last week. UC Santa Barbara, 8-2 on the year. We're loving some Santa Barbara. The Gauchos averaging. Now, here's where we need to see more. And this is where the tracking portion comes in. Because the first couple weeks, there's a lot of variance. You just have stats moving. But these numbers start to solidify, and they don't move too terribly much once we get into conference play, which is coming up pretty soon. So UC Santa Barbara, as we're tracking them, I'm loving the 2.7 runs per game allowed. That's fantastic. That's what money for us. Do want to get those runs up. 6.0 per game. We're going to have to get those up a little bit. So let's track that because, again, we're going to be betting Santa Barbara a whole lot, man. They're very, very consistent. We just want to see those runs go up. If we get to 7, it's looking good. All right, but they went 4-0 last week, so, I mean, nothing we can complain about. And then finally, North Carolina, 11-1. This is just a really, really, really good team. I know that their competition last weekend was slaw. I get it. But North Carolina is, well, we're going to find out at Virginia this weekend, but they're 11-1, 9.7 runs per game, only giving up allowing 2.6 runs per game, and then 5-0 last week. So it's just, they're an absolute wagon of consistency. And again, Bill said, look, NC State, yeah, Texas. You know what I mean? Like literally not a single thing to complain about with Texas baseball at all. But yeah, so there's a lot of teams, but that's how I get down. It helps me, especially when there are days where you have like 100 games. It's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with, right? So anyways, all right, that's what we have. All right, quick show. What we have for week 4 of the college baseball season. So good to see everybody. All right, we'll be live normal time tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. But until then, everybody, best of luck. Let's cash these tickets. We'll see you this weekend. Thanks.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!